Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Topic of the day, as I just said, we don't talk much NFL on this show, but at the same time, when you have a story as big as the Cowboys getting embarrassed in the playoffs, by the way, when everything broke their way, Philly falls apart. You get the bogus Dan Campbell weird, reporting. You end up with the 2 seed when you probably didn't deserve it. Feels like everything is finally going your way. And then just a no-show of all no-shows against the Green Bay Packers. And let me say this. One, this is kind of why I like college sports more than the pros. Because in college sports, you can fire a head coach. The players come, the players go. In the pros, if you get stuck, especially in football, with the wrong head coach, and obviously in football, the wrong quarterback, you are in deep, deep, deep trouble. And so I've said it for 3 or 4 years now. I said, I don't love Dak, and I do not like Mike McCarthy. This, by the way, we're going to come full circle on my greatest take that I have ever had here momentarily. But look at the NFL. To be great, to win a Super Bowl, you need to either be great at the quarterback position or the head coaching position, ideally both. I think Baltimore is great at quarterback with Lamar Jackson, great at head coach with John Harbaugh. I think, Kansas City, great with Andy Reid, great with Patrick Mahomes. I think Buffalo is at least great at quarterback with Josh Allen. I think, other teams, Belichick through the years, although we'll get to Belichick momentarily, thought he was great. Is like the point I'm trying to make. You cannot win with these two guys. I've been saying it for years, and so let's break it down. Listen, with Dak, I love Dak. He seems like a great guy. He's about the right things. He's great in the community. But as somebody who hosts national sports talk radio, I host Fox Sports Radio every Saturday night. The Dak contract was a topic for like 3 off seasons in a row. And I just remember saying at the time, listen, he's going to get paid. You have to pay him. I get this is how it works, but you're signing up for the same thing every single year. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That is Dak as your quarterback. Year 1, he comes on the scene. Tony Romo gets hurt, chokes in the playoffs, not good enough. Year after year after year after year. And so when you give that guy $40, $45, $50 million, I understand that that's what you do for all these elite quarterbacks, but it limits what you can do at other positions. It limits what you can do on the offensive line, skill position, defense. And so I just said, listen, it's fine. Give him the contract, but he ain't the answer. Well, what did we see on Sunday? Another big game in a big moment. He got outplayed by Jordan freaking Love, who to Jordan freaking Love's credit is much better than I thought he would be. But first year starter, first playoff game, Jordan Love is awesome. Dak is a mess. Pick 6. Probably should have had at least 1 or 2 more interceptions as well. Still, you're stuck with Dak. He's good enough. And this, to me, falls on Mike McCarthy. And so with Mike McCarthy, I've said it. So this was the take that I was referencing a minute ago. The best take that I've ever had on the Aaron Torres pod, you can go back 2 years ago, January of 2022, the NFL season, the 2021 NFL season. That was the year that Dallas lost the home playoff game to the San Francisco 49ers when Dallas did not know how to spike the football. Okay? That's rudimentary, fundamental, day one Pop Warner stuff. That's it. And so I said at the time, this stuff happens too much with Mike McCarthy. This stuff happens where it's the little details with Mike McCarthy. It's not knowing how to down the football, how to stop the clock. It's not knowing how to too many penalties, unprepared, undisciplined, jumping off sides, beating yourself. Well, what did we see on Sunday? The little things, a team that was completely unprepared. By the way, it's not the first time it happened this year. Didn't show up against Arizona. Didn't show up against Buffalo. The little things went wrong for Dallas just like they have all year. Remember the Miami game, the snap, goal line, whatever? Remember the Detroit game? Before all the Dan Campbell stuff, what was the big story? Dak's throwing on third down when you don't have to throw the football, when you should be running the ball to make Detroit use their timeouts. So I bring it up because this has always been Mike McCarthy's problems. In the big moments, the big games, even in the non-big games, the team isn't prepared. But it's fundamentals, it's discipline, it's whatever. And that's what we saw. It all came together on Sunday, right? You saw a team that was completely unprepared. You saw all the little mistakes, not only a pick six from Dak, but you saw, missed PAT. You saw a penalty on the goal line when you're going for two to cut it to a 2-possession game. You go on and on down the list. I'll say this, Dan Campbell, who's supposed to be such a defensive genius that he's getting head coaching opportunities, Dan Campbell, late in the game, when Dallas is down by 1,000,000 points, he's got his defensive backs basically in a prevent defense. It's like, we know Aaron Jones is going to run the ball. Get him up on the line of scrimmage. Stop the clock. And so I go on and on and on. I don't know what else to say other than that Mike McCarthy isn't the guy. And so I bring it up because this goes back to the take that I promised you, okay? So 3 years ago, so it was the winter of 22, I said that if I was the Dallas Cowboys, you have a roster built to win a Super Bowl right now, and you have a small window when at the time, CeeDee Lamb, Trevon Diggs, and Micah Parsons were all on rookie contracts. All those guys are going to get paid. The window is now. And so my take at the time, and this was before guys were getting $20, $25, $30 million a year to be NFL head coaches. I said, go get Nick Saban, pay him $25 million a year and say, look, you only got 3-4 more years left. Now we ended up finding out it was 2 years, but that's beside the point. And I said, because he has the window that you need and he has exactly what you need, the discipline, the structure, the accountability, the little details. So that is not going to happen because Nick Saban is not retired. But one, I just think you have to fire Mike McCarthy. And this isn't like Torres, hot take, whatever. This is just common sense. This is just, there are too many good candidates. This is too many years in a row with Mike McCarthy. Bottom line, if Jerry does not make this firing on Monday morning, he's not serious about winning a Super Bowl. Not when Vrabel's out there, not when Belichick's out there, not when Harbaugh's out there, not when Pete Carroll's out there. You go on and on and on down the list. There are so many better candidates than Mike McCarthy to get this team over the top. And so to bring it full circle, listen, I'll say this. I think the fact remains, go back to the take that I had. Nick Saban's not coming back. Okay, we get it. He's retired, whatever. But who was Nick Saban's former boss? Listen, I think if you're Jerry Jones, you have to call Bill Belichick. I think there's only one answer to save this whole thing. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, it's Bill Belichick. No, I don't know. I don't want to say there's only one answer, but I think he's the best answer because, again, what has Bill struggled with? Finding the quarterback. What has Bill struggled with? Drafting. Well, guess what? You got the quarterback. You're stuck with him. And Stephen Jones, to his credit, is a great player evaluator. I don't know where he went to school to figure this all out, but he is great at talent evaluation. So you go to Bill, give him a huge contract. You say, hey, let's finish this thing in style. You come here, you break down Shula's record, and we got as they say in the real estate business, this is a turnkey deal. You don't got to go to Washington and start over from the bottom. You don't got to go to Atlanta and start over from the bottom. You come here, you got it all. Imagine what you could do with Micah Parsons. You coached LT. Imagine what you could do with Micah Parsons. Trevon Diggs when he's healthy. That other, they got so much talent on that defense. Here's the other thing about Belichick that I don't think people are talking about. He's coming with Josh McDaniels. Like, I keep hearing, like, I wouldn't hire Belichick. It's like, well, Belichick, the head coach, and Belichick, the GM, certainly wouldn't bring Belichick the GM. But Belichick, the head coach, when he can focus on defense and when he has the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, that he trusts, guess what? They win. 2 years ago, when Josh McDaniels, before he went to the Raiders, guess what happened? They went to the playoffs and won 10 games with Mac Jones as a quarterback. The same Mac Jones that everybody is ready to run out of the NFL right now. Josh McDaniels as the offensive coordinator with Bill Belichick's defense, they were able to win immediately. and they were able to win reasonably big. Now you have Dak. Now you have that defense. Now you have Josh McDaniels. I say you got to do it. Now, I will also say, this is where it gets interesting to me. There is some pushback about like, well, what about, would Jerry and Bill Belichick get along? First of all, Jerry, put your ego aside. I hate to say it. You're in your 80s. Belichick's in his 70s. I know that Belichick's got to put his ego aside a little bit too. But at the same time, I'm sitting here saying, Jerry, do you want to win a Super Bowl or not? If Bill Belichick says no more press conferences, no more radio interviews for you, Jerry, put it aside. You have to want to win. But here's the other thing. There's another guy that's available too. That's Jim Harbaugh. And that's actually the guy, like, I actually think Belichick is the answer, but I kind of think Jim Harbaugh might be the answer too. Younger, has at least coached in a Super Bowl, is going to clean up the little things. But here's the other thing about Harbaugh. I don't think Harbaugh will be as bothered by Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones's ego as Bill Belichick would. Bill Belichick, it would drive him crazy, the owner doing press conferences on a Wednesday, okay? I don't think Harbaugh would care. Harbaugh would be like, whatever. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Don't care. Focused on football. Love my guys. Can you imagine Harbaugh, the glasses, Jerry, the star, Dallas? There are too many good options out there. So in my personal opinion, I would get rid of Mike McCarthy. Listen, Jerry, you got to do it. And by the way, I was on radio during the Jason Garrett thing when he didn't want to fire Jason Garrett. He tried to figure out ways to keep him. No, you got to get rid of Mike McCarthy. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Loyalty. Get rid of him. This was a debacle. And then from there, I think you got to go get Bill Belichick. I think you got to go get Jim Harbaugh. Jerry, you're in your 80s, bro. I'm not even a Cowboys fan for people who are wondering. I just want to see the Cowboys good, and it ain't going to happen with this current coaching staff in place. Whoa! That it was a fire first segment. That's what we're going to do, though. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. When